Graceful Solutions here, and in this video I'll be showing step by step how I created this marriage anniversary flyer right in Photoshop. Let's go. Alright, so the first thing you need to do is to create a new document and use a dimension of 1080 pixels by 1080 pixels. Then next up, I brought in my background and ensure it's centralized. So next up, I added a gradient layer to this. So let me show you how I did that. So all you need to do is to come down to, let me zoom into my screen. So come down to where you have this property, oh sorry, not that, come to where you have this, and then go to where you have gradient. So you go for and then you click this drop down arrow and then go for this, come to basic and select this very one, okay, here, okay, this very one, or you can also go for the black to transparent, whichever one that works for you. Alright, so next up, what I did was to bring in this sunburst. If you look at this background carefully, then you see this a little sunburst background image on the background here, and this is exactly the picture I used. So now the first thing I did was to desaturate this image, okay, by pressing the on your Windows PC. Press Ctrl+Shift+U to desaturate the background, and then you drag it into your work area. And then what I did, okay, let me just turn it back on so that I'll show you the process clearly. And then, so what I did next was just to resize it, something like so. So next up, I came down to create a layer mask, and then I took my brush tool by pressing letter B on the keyboard. And now ensure that my foreground color is set to black. And then I just slowly, I can increase the size of the brush, and I just slowly brushed off the part of this image, like so. And then I now came to where I have my blending options right here, and I chose this to overlay, something like so. So as you can see, it created this cool blended effect onto the background. Alright, so as you can see, our background is set, so I can, and it's a practice whenever you are designing to always label your layers for proper recognition, so it makes your workflow very smooth and easy. So next up, what I did next was to bring in the client's image. Okay, so this was the image of the client I used for the design. Alright, so as you can see right here, I faded, okay, the bottom of the image. Now if you would like to learn how I achieved this effect, how to smoothly fit an image into a background, I did a video on this step by step. I'll put that video in the comment section or in the description, okay, as a pinned comment in the comment section, or as okay, I'll leave the link in the description, so you go ahead and watch that video on how you can smoothly fit an image into a background in Photoshop. So next up, what I did was to now bring in the number 24. I just put it in the middle like so. If you look at this image carefully, you see that there's a glow effect. Alright, so before I go on to how I achieve that glow effect, what I need to show you is that I used right here, I used the font disclaimer. Alright, so come to properties. So as you can see, I used the font disclaimer for this. Now, so if you look carefully, like I said, there's a glow effect on this. So I'm just going to go ahead and turn off the glow layer first. Now you see that there's a difference, okay, the number is no longer glowing as before. Now I also reduced the opacity, okay, so that it won't be that distracting, or it won't be competing with the image. So as you can see right here, I reduced the opacity. So if I increase the opacity again, you see that it's going to be distracting with, or it's going to be competing with the image, okay. So I had to reduce the opacity to just give it that cool faded effect at the background. So let me show you how I achieved that glow effect. Now what I did was to come down to this plus icon to create a new layer. Alright, and then I went to my brush tool, or just press the letter B on the keyboard to take my brush tool. Now ensure that your foreground color is set to white. So I'm just going to click, I can reduce the size of the brush by pressing the left bracket key, and of course ensure you select the soft round brush, something like so. So what I did was to just go ahead and click on the, just reduce it further, and okay, drop that, Ctrl Z, So I just click on, let me reduce a bit. So I click on the number and go to my blending options right here and ensure that the layer is selected. Go to your blending options and just change it to be an overlay or soft light, whichever one that appeals to you. So I think the soft light is cool. Yeah, so that's just how I created that glow effect. So if I turn it off, you see that the glow is no longer there. If I turn it on, you see it's there. So that's how you create a glow effect on any text in Photoshop. Alright, so next up, what I did was to add my text. So I just labeled this as caption. So if I turn this layer on, okay, you see that this the text I added. Okay, so this is the text I added to okay, on the design. So it's just simple, take your text tool, pressing the letter T on the keyboard, and just add the font or add the text. So for the text happy, I use the typeface autograph, or I use the font autograph. Yeah, and for the other text, I used for the word marriage, I think I used the font poppins. And so just follow the process, follow my entire process, and this is the color code I used. Let me zoom in further. So this is the color code I used, so you can just use the same exact color codes. Alright, so next up, what I did here was to now add a love icon or a heart icon. Right, so as you can see right here, the icon is kind of blurry. Okay, so of course it's pretty simple. Just import the icon, the heart icon. Then what I did next was go to filter, zoom in, go to filter, and go to blur. And so you have different blur options, but the particular blur effect I used for that was motion blur. Right, so you see that for the motion blur, when you increase the blur, it just gives this subtle or this interesting motion effect on the image. So that's what I did. So the further you increase the distance, the more blurry the image becomes. So that's how you add motion blur to whatever image you want to. So that's how I achieved this effect. So next up, what I did was to just add this text decoration right here. Let me turn the layer on so you see. That's it. So this is the text decoration effect I added. Alright, let me show you how I achieved this particular effect. Alright, so this is the text decoration effect I used for this design. So what I did was I took this, as you can see right here, we have a couple of effects on this image. So what I did was I went to my marquee tool right here and selected the rectangular marquee tool, and I just came here and highlighted this very one. This is one I want. Okay, this one I use rather. So I highlighted this very one, and then I press Ctrl J to duplicate this. So Ctrl J on your keyboard. So as you can see right here, I've made a copy of this very one. So what I did next, okay, let me drop my marquee tool first of all. So what I now did was to click this and drag it into the work area, like so. But if you notice now, this Ctrl Z, the color is sort of black. So let me show you how I change the color. So go to your blending options on a particular layer, blending options, and then you select go to color overlay. So as you can see right here, the color has changed, but you can change. Let's say I want to change this color to another color of my choice. I can just click here and then choose any color. So as you see that as you change the color, the effect here changes, so you can use any color of your choice. So next up, what I did was to now bring in the name of the client. That's pretty straightforward. Just take a text tool and just add the name of the client, as you can see right here, and drop the text tool. So next up, after that, I now added the date. It's pretty straightforward as well. Just draw a rectangle, draw an ellipse and then add the text. So to draw an ellipse, just go to your shape tool right here. Go to your shape tool, hold your shift key, draw an ellipse. You can change the color of the ellipse. Just come to your property bar panel and change the color of the ellipse. Okay, so that's pretty straightforward. and then you can add your text to it. Just add the date to it. So that's how I achieved that. Then next up, finally, what I did was to add the name of the logo right here. Pretty straightforward. Just the name of the church or brand. Yeah, so all I just needed to do was to import the logo and add the text, and that's pretty much it. So this is how I was able to achieve this marriage anniversary poster using Photoshop. If there's any part of this video that's not clear to you, feel free to drop your comments in the comment section. So thanks for watching. If you found value, please like, share and subscribe. See you in my next video.